I'm ready with 6:59. I've heard that a couple other people might become showing up, so we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see how it goes. You know, it could be just us. Just us. How would that be if it was just us? It would be great. It'd be great. We could get, deeper into this stuff, We could start reading all the poems we've written about some of the other people that come here. I bet I know why. I bet I know why nobody's here. And it's not because it's Tuesday, the day that time forgot. The reason that there's not more people here is that I have yet to look at my Facebook page and see all the birthday greetings I got yesterday, or say thanks to anybody for the birthday greetings I got yesterday. But I am thankful for the birthday greetings I got yesterday. I just did not look at Facebook yesterday. I don't know that I social media'd much at all yesterday. Yeah. I just kind of, I decided this year I just want to let it slip past, and then I'll go see it maybe tomorrow, is what I was saying yesterday, and yet here I am tomorrow, and I still haven't done it. I'm not a good person. No, I'm a fine human being. Fine, but old. And getting older every moment, human being. Now, Cindy, I don't know if you noticed, I do have one of the pictures in the visual realm right about here, Cindy, but I can't remember the name of the lighthouse. Cindy Snyder contacted me. Oh, there's Finn Livingston. Cindy Snyder contacted me on, was it my birthday or was it the day before? I can't remember. Finn, it's Tuesday. Yes, where have you been? Joey Bishop. Regis Philbin. Wait a minute. Don't forget Joey's sidekick, Regis Philbin. They were both egregious. Egregious Philbin. They are both dead. Oh. Dick Cavett replaced them. Okay. So we'll have to get Dick Cavett to come. I think he's pretty slow these days myself. Let's see. Holly Tuttle's here. Hello, Holly. So what was I saying? It's gone. So one of the joys of being 65 is I no longer have to. Oh, I was talking about Cindy's pictures. Cindy gave me a bunch of pictures that she took along the Oregon coast, and they're gorgeous. But I don't have any wall space left. Have you looked here? Where am I gonna? I took down my old list of songs that I played so that I could put up this one, and then I've got a few more over here, another lighthouse here, some nice surf shot there, and a lovely lagoon or inlet type shot right there. So when Cindy was showing me these pictures, because I was just leaving for my walk in the morning, and she texted me and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I said, "I just left for a walk." And she said, "Well, where are you?" I said, "I just left for a walk." I said, "Where are you?" She said, "Crown Hill." She said, "I got something for you." So I said, "Well, let's see. I could meet you at the Shoreline Community Center in about a half an hour." And, she said, "Well, that sounds good." So we met at the Shoreline Community Center, and she gave me this envelope full of photographs that she had taken. And we went and sat on a bench and chatted for a while. I needed the update on all the people that I used to know back in the bus yard, which is where Cindy and I met. Yeah, at the Lake City bus yard. Back in my working days. Yes. So we had a nice chat and everything like that. So thank you for that, Cindy. And thanks to everybody who wished me happy birthday. I'm sorry I've been bad. I've been old and seemingly uncaring. But no, I do care. I just sometimes, I feel like the older I get, the less I'm going to feel responsible for stuff. It's already starting to happen. It's really kind of delightful. Yeah. And Kim Nelson wrote me a nice greeting. She texted me a nice greeting. I'm bad people. Bad people, Bill. Well, it's because I'm an old man. What can you do? What can you do, people? Yeah. I've only got a couple of these to bother you with this evening, and we'll get to move on to the more... Did I write that? Oh, yeah. Okay, maybe there's three. There might be three. Okay, there might be three. Yeah. Oldmanhood, folks. Welcome, Kim. Yes, indeed. Welcome, John. Let's see, Oldmanhood. I hope it's going to be a weed shop. The place they're fixing up next door to my work. Wouldn't that be convenient? I want to explore the world of edibles more. Something with lots of CBD, but a healthy dose of the fun stuff. Oldmanhood is a time for fun stuff. When I was in young manhood, I always said that I'd like to start doing a lot of acid when I retired, so that I could be primed for whatever comes next. I still feel that way, but acid is hard to find, even here in Oldmanhood. If I ever find some, I'll buy a lot of it, enough to last a lifetime, whatever that is. That was kind of a frivolous little old manhood node there, sorry. Mary Pecca is here. Hi, Mary. Haven't gotten any poetry from Mary in a while. So great to see these woods again, behind the campus, scene of so many adventures. Where I came from, it's all housing developments, cul-de-sacs, and model homes. There's Monadnock. We used to climb up it while tripping our brains out. In modern times, it's surrounded by a high chain link fence. These really were the days. I'm a little freaked out about being back here. I guess I could go home whenever I want, but I really want to talk to the big guy. He has a scientific mind and might help in noting the finer details of what I need to say. What do I need to say? I want my younger self to be prepared for the rigors of living with an autoimmune disease. Urge him to watch his health and look out for the warning signs earlier than I did. But I also feel like a fool, and like I'm cheating the system by warning me. It's a moral question. It's a mind bender. Am I simply turning my young self into a victim? Yes. Changing the course of my young life, filling a young man's head with fears of the future before he's really had a chance at a present? Maybe I should go talk to the old big guy back home. Yes, I should have talked to him before I came wandering back over the years to this beautiful place of memory and vigor. Perhaps I shouldn't have come at all. I just tried to climb up the side of Monadnock for old time's sake. Couldn't remember where the first foothold was. Can't see well enough anymore to find it. It's a crack in my happiness. A crack in this memorial landscape. It's too much for one old man. There you go. Yeah. While the ghosts of who I was swirl around my thinking, the liberties of old manhood shine brighter. It's a new trick of living to consider it eventful, talking to crows, studying those big-ass trees, and believing they've got something to teach. Covering ground through pain to the place where the body warms and bliss descends to walk with me a while. This is the closer look I always meant to take at what was always there, immediate and luminous. Caught in capitalism's net, the natural world is stripped, felled, extracted, left for dead, and bank accounts replace the smaller gods of nature's green. Lessons come down the trail so late that even old manhood is only a mute stage in the woods. There you go. I don't know. Sometimes I feel I should stop this hostage situation when it comes to old manhood and just stick with the real stuff. Here we are, people. Holly Trout Cooper's in the house. Good, Holly. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Now, I did get a birthday poem from the hand, which was very nice. It's called Turning 65, and it's written by Jim Timonere, or Timonere. Yeah, Timonere. I think it's Timonere. Looks like it. Turning 65. This is the mailbag now, folks. I thought I would be different today. I expected this morning would have wrought a change in me like Cinderella's coach that turned into a wrinkled pumpkin, leaving her to walk home from the ball. But that didn't happen. Midnight struck this morning and the gentle heart and glowing soul who lies beside me through every lonely night reached back, pulled my face close to hers and said, "Happy birthday. I love you." Then she kissed me and I was young again. That pretty much describes a phenomenon here in the treehouse, lived by moi on a fairly regular basis. Jim Timonere. I am old enough to have seen Kennedys die, men walk on the moon, and Ted Williams play baseball. I was even around when the Cleveland Browns won the championship. I have been through the same troubles as everyone, and maybe a few more, and have always found pleasure, relief, and completeness in writing and photography. I love being here with you who understand and judge fairly what is in my soul. That's good. I like that. I love being here with you who understand and judge fairly what is in my soul. Sounds like there's a hint of an expectation there, perhaps. Yes, perhaps so. Yeah. Kelly Murphy's in the house. Old man. That's what old men do. Yes, sir. Turning 65. I thought I would be different today. I expected this morning would have wrought a change in me like Cinderella's coach that turned into a wrinkled pumpkin, leaving her to walk home from the ball. But that didn't happen. Midnight struck this morning, and the gentle heart and glowing soul who lies beside me through every lonely night reached back, pulled my face close to hers and said, "Happy birthday, I love you." Then she kissed me and I was young again. Thank you, Han. Thank you, Jim Timonere. Jim Timonere. You're going to remember that name. There's so many new names. That's one of the cool things about the poetry break for me. It has broadened. My poetry world is exploding. Who knew it was that exciting? Yeah. Who's next? Wait a minute. I think Mark Kenney is next. Isn't he? Where's Mark? There he is. Sorry, I got my pages mixed up here a little bit. Mark Kenney, one poem, it says. I'm sorry I missed the last poetry break, but I was kind of a non-person after my kidney stone procedure earlier that day. Yep, I understand that. I wrote this little poem reflecting on the surreal experience on multiple days, diving in and floating late at night in a place we rented on Hood Canal, in a time of high phosphorescence and the added benefit of a clear, starry sky above each night. I had never experienced the phenomenon before, and it was all I could do to come out of the water, warm up in the hot tub, and finally find my way inside to drift off to sleep in my comfy, warm bed. The phosphorescence. I remember that from when I was a kid on Fox Island. Yes, sir. I remember it from that riding on the herring boats. And the herring boats, that's how they found the schools of herring. They would go out after dark, and they would look for these glowing spots in the water. That's how they could tell where the schools of herring were. And that's where they dropped the net, and then the wake from the herring boat would be all lit up, and the trailer boat with the end of the raft, you could see the glow behind that. If you haven't seen the phosphorescence, you got to go check it out if you live near the Puget Sound. So, Mark wrote a poem called Dreams Like Sea Foam. Dreams like sea foam, floating by our languid limbs, trailing around and behind us in that phosphorescent sea on becalmed and starlit nights. Unanchored, weightless, timeless, wispy remnants of things long lost or never found. Days unremembered, our thoughts suspended, our hearts unburdened, they drift this way and that, tickling the edges of our bodies, surrounded with misty, moonlit melodies, memories unhinged from any moment in time and space, all around our fingers touching, seafoam like dreams, or seafoam like dreams. Not sure, Mark. Not sure, but it works either way. Phosphorescent is actually a form of algae or plankton, I believe. Yeah. And when it gets agitated, it glows. So, fish swimming through the water, even down low, they'd light it up. Or the waves kind of curling onto the shore, you'd see them light up with it. Yeah. Some nights it was thicker than other nights. Oh, this. I forgot about this PS. This is also the first poem that I asked OpenAI's ChatGPT to revise. I don't think I want to read the revision done by AI ChatGPT. I don't think I want to entrust my poetry to AI ChatGPT. Yeah, where are we at here? Okay, John Gorski. John Gorski sent a couple of poems in. Hi, Bill. Here are 2 poems for Poetry Break. The first, COVID Lament, was written in December of 2021. It has references to Shakespeare's Sonnet 73. That time of year you mayest behold in me, when yellow leaves or none or do hang upon boughs that shake against the cold, bare, ruined choirs where late the sweet birds sang. Ooh. The second, A Bluebird's Riff, is from late last month. It's about jazz musicians who experience substance abuse and mental illness. Yes, sir. All right. Okay. 2 poems from John Gorski. We got COVID Lament and Bluebird's Riff. And they both say to the tune of, and I'm not going to do it to the tune of anything. I couldn't figure out the scansion, first of all, on either of them. I don't know Another Man Done Gone. But I do know The Water is Wide, and I could not make the scan with what I know to be The Water is Wide. So I'm just going to read these, if that's okay, John. Maybe you didn't even mean for me to sing them. But COVID Lament is to the tune of The Water is Wide. Shakespeare's choirs are empty now, the songs flown south to Mexico, abandoning the Seattle sky, its November sun winking low. The air is deep with autumn's cold, and ravens cry out passing time in a convoluted black chorus, worrying the years in my mind. Milky coronas of headlights approached me this early dawn as I walked into the streets of COVID plague nearly 2 years on. It is a morning of blinding fog rising up from my cotton face mask, turning the horizon to a haze and my thoughts to solitary tasks. Further through the pandemic we go, peering at screens, losing bandwidth, adrift in our own domiciles, scrolling to varieties of death. Electronic images multiply as I shelter in a pallid place of unredeemed isolation infusing my dream-weary face. I ruminate this afternoon about children I'd seen this day, like ghost figures turning circles on bikes in white disarray. I watch icy washes of sunlight on the building across the street as disembodied laughter makes the darkening hour complete. I like that, John. Goodness gracious. John, I salute you, sir. There's Janine Box. Hey, there's Kim Nelson again. There's Cindy Clark. Cindy Clark! Kelly Murphy. Kelly Murphy. One of the steady hands. Kelly Murphy. Let's drink to Kelly Murphy. Janine Boggs, why not? Kim Nelson. Everybody who I can see right now. And John Gorski. John Gorski. And this is the commemorative Lori Trout shot, number 1. Because it is. Wait. The day Bill takes 2 shots. Okay. COVID Lament to the tune of The Water is Wide. Shakespeare's choirs are empty now. The songs flown south to Mexico, abandoning the Seattle sky, its November sun winking low. The air is deep with autumn's cold, and ravens cry out passing time in a convoluted black chorus, worrying the years in my mind. Milky coronas of headlights approached me this early dawn as I walked into the streets of COVID plague nearly 2 years on. It is a morning of blinding fog rising up from my cotton face mask, turning the horizon to a haze and my thoughts to solitary tasks. Further through the pandemic we go, peering at screens, losing bandwidth, adrift in our own domiciles, scrolling to varieties of death. Electronic images multiply as I shelter in a pallid place of unredeemed isolation, infusing my dream-weary face. I ruminate this afternoon about children I'd seen this day, like ghost figures turning circles on bikes in white disarray. I watch icy washes of sunlight on the building across the street as disembodied laughter makes the darkening hour complete. That's sweet. John Gorski. Now another one from John Gorski. A Bluebird's Riff to the tune of Another Man Done Gone. I wonder if that's to the actual tune or just to the kind of tonal tune. What do you say, John? Do a little interview with John here in the comment section. Now, sometime we'll have John actually here. I can do that split screen thing here. Should have poets on to read their own stuff. I know I need to be more ambitious. What I need to be is younger, and so that I have ambitions, and I don't think of things like that and think, yeah, that sounds like a lot of work. A Bluebird's... I can hear old people out there laughing. A Bluebird's Riff. One day, Buddy Bolden heard a riff in the song of a passing bluebird with a pleasing melody that left his mind out of key. He played it all day long, that enchanting song, and wound up in a void inside antiseptic walls of lunatic halls. In his last 30 years, only nurses heard the tears of that ragtime genius in a madhouse spare and clean way down in New Orleans. Bud Powell heard glasses clink and people filled with drink and played arpeggios on the blackened ivories, warding off anxiety. A figure shadowed him, beckoning the asylum on Paris thoroughfares with sirens in the air of Georgia police cars flashing red from afar. Art Pepper's sax grieved with his take on autumn leaves in a midnight village club, hoping sadly to ascend like gulls above Long Island. He played his obsession, hollowed by heroin, following those arcing winds, immune to everything on his crazed continuum to the Abbey of Psalms. Yeah. The Abbey of Psalms is a cemetery in Hollywood, California, by the way. Yeah. That was a footnote. John puts footnotes on his poems. Have I ever had a poem with a footnote? I should do that sometime. Kind of makes it seem more, what? I don't know. A Bluebird's Riff to the tune of Another Man Done Gone. One day, Buddy Bolden heard a riff in the song of a passing bluebird with a pleasing melody that left his mind out of key. He played it all day long, that enchanting song, and wound up in a void inside antiseptic walls of lunatic halls. In his last 30 years, only nurses heard the tears of that ragtime genius in a madhouse spare and clean way down in New Orleans. Bud Powell heard glasses clink and people filled with drink and played arpeggios on the black and ivories, warding off anxiety. A figure shadowed him, beckoning the asylum on Paris thoroughfares with sirens in the air of Georgia police cars flashing red from afar. Art Pepper's sax grieved with his take on autumn leaves in a midnight village club, hoping sadly to ascend like gulls above Long Island. He played his obsession, hollowed by heroin, following those arcing wings, immune to everything on his crazed continuum to the Abbey of Psalms. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, a lot of detail in that, John. I like it. I like it, John. Goodness. Okay, we turn now to Nils Peterson. Don't know if Nils made it tonight. He was looking for us last week, and I don't think he found us. Maybe that's him now. Honey, the doorbell's It's the hand, ladies and gentlemen. The hand. The hand has entered the space. A piece of paper, some fingers. Here's the hand. Welcome, hand. Thanks for that nice birthday poem. And tell Diane I thank her too. She's got to be around you somewhere, right? Right. Wait. Crack research team. Oh, goodness. Well, should I do this first? Because she put this in front of me first. Crack research. Phosphorescence is usually made possible by algae suspended in water. Reminiscent of fireflies, a wide variety of algae emit a certain glow when they are disturbed. So I thought it was either algae or plankton, right? Didn't I say algae or plankton? I know I said plankton. Did I say something? No, it was algae or plankton. Isn't that like a miracle? All wondrous joys of nature. Yes, indeed, it is like a miracle. Kind of like music or poetry. Yeah. Wow, that's cool. Phosphorescence. Hadn't thought about that for a while. Scott Higgins were here. We could wax. What could we wax? Sentimental about phosphorescence for hours. John Gorski's in the house. Kelly Murphy, Mary Pekka, Finn Livingston, Holly Trout Cooper, Holly Tuttle, Kim Nelson, Cindy Snyder, and other luminous ones. It says we got 14 people in here. 14 people in here. You guys that want to hang out back by the dumpster, that's fine. You do not have to announce yourself. Just enjoy the stuff. But tell your friends, you can share this video to your page, and that way the people who come to your page can see it. Do I say that too much? Probably. Nils Peterson, as I mentioned before I lost my mind. Does his weekly report from Seattle. This says report from Seattle as February winds down, which is what it's doing, even as we speak. Yes. Some of you old ones may remember that radio show on Saturday morning, On Before Let's Pretend. In it, a boy and a girl would head beneath the sea each Saturday to recover some lost thing with the help of their guide, a red lanternfish. Now you got me, Nils. I did not. The only radio show that was still broadcasting, other than Helen Trump, The Adventures of Helen Trump, which my dad listened to without fail, was a show, a variety show hosted by Arthur Godfrey. The Arthur Godfrey Show. Yeah, I remember listening to Helen Trump and to the Arthur Godfrey Show with my dad. Then it was Lowell Thomas, 75 minutes of news on the CBS broadcasting system. 75 minutes? What about 42 minutes of news? Or 68 minutes of news? Sorry, Laurie. Monica Overstadt. Hello, Monica. Oh, my goodness. Anyway. Yeah, let's pretend. See, it was Saturday morning TV shows where I grew up. Yeah, but radio. I listen to radio. Diane and I talk about this all the time, how radio played such a huge part in our lives. And I remember my friend Scott Higgins, he had a bigger radio. His radio had like a 5-inch speaker in it. Unlike my little transistor job that maybe had a 1-inch speaker. But we were talking about it in the context of these old songs. Like when we were talking about Burt Bacharach songs. When I first heard, do you know the way to San Jose? I've been away so long. I was listening to it on a little 1-inch speaker in my little Zenith transistor radio. And yet, that music made such an impact on me that I remember it to this day. And whenever I hear it, I'm like, oh. But we were listening to some of those on like Spotify or something, and the fidelity was almost shocking. It's like, wait a minute. Can we pump this through a little 1-inch speaker or something so I'll recognize it better? Anyway. Okay, so he was talking about the Let's Pretend show. A boy and a girl would head beneath the sea each Saturday to recover some lost thing with the help of their guide, a red lanternfish. I do not remember that. I wonder if anybody here does. Well, Nils, I don't know. So then he says, so I read about the people with recorder mentioned in the first line below and what they are trying to preserve. The poem is called Steam Heat. People with recorders are scurrying around trying to catch endangered sounds. I hope one gets the sound of pipes knocking as the steam rises from the coal furnace. Remember that joyful bang and clatter? How if you could stay in bed 5 minutes more, the chill would be gone from the room, though not the floor. Remember the radiator beneath the window? Painted white with a metal tray on top for flowers in summer, and how on the first cold day the black round knob was so stiff it could hardly turn. Look now at the mist beginning to fog the window. Look while it's clear. All's still there. Yeah, I love that poem. I'm going to read that again, and I'm going to read the rest of his, because I love this Reports from Seattle thing that Nils does. It's always got something interesting, you know? So, yeah. Nils Peterson, look him up on Facebook, Nils Peterson, just like you'd expect it to be spelled, and ask if you can get on his mailing list. If this kind of thing interests you. Because it interests me, because I am sentimental. I do remember steam radiators and that clank and stuff. Oh yeah, and those ones under the windows and how the knob was somehow impossible to turn. The dorm I first lived on in college had steam heat. Yeah, it did. Had a steam radiator right in my room. Boy, it was such luxury. Yes. Today I read the piece below and wonder what kind of wizardry could be created to preserve lost smells. Now, this is from the Paris Review. He's quoting. The bookstore, and especially the used bookstore, is vanishing from New York City. Today there are a few, but there used to be a multitude of them crammed between kitchen appliance shops and laundromats and thrift stores. They all had temperamental cats prowling their aisles, and they all smelled wonderfully of what a team of chemists in London has called a combination of grassy notes with a tang of acids and a hint of vanilla over an underlying mustiness. I will miss terribly this stimulating fragrance and the books that produce it when it's washed from the city for good. Well, it wasn't just New York City. Tacoma. I remember Fox's books. Maybe Holly remembers Fox's books in downtown Tacoma. Yeah, that's where I went when I was looking for books by Christopher Morley. If you've never read a book called The Haunted Bookshop by Christopher Morley, it came out in 1919. Well, you should check it out. It's got a book that came before it called Parnassus on Wheels, all about this bookseller named Roger Mifflin. Yeah. Fox's bookstore. So, Nils says, this combination of grassy notes with a tang of acids and a hint of vanilla over an underlying mustiness is one of the world's great smells. I fear it is on its way into the land of the lost. As I typed this, I remembered the pillows stuffed with pine needles one used to buy at resort places in New England, how the forest lingered in your bureau drawer for years, and how every once in a while you would pull it out, inhale, and remember. And on the page mysteriously appeared this: I want the last check I write to bounce. Mr. Feeney said, well said, Mr. Feeney, and top of the morning to you. I want the last check I write to bounce. And then I remember listening to Let's Pretend before it had commercials, but then, cream of wheat is so good to eat, and that we have it every day, something, something, and it makes us strong, and it makes us shout, hooray. Cream of wheat. Memory enough for a Monday morning at the tail end of February in the 21st century. Nils Peterson. Nils Peterson. His reports from Seattle. I love them. It's like an old radio show, isn't it? Isn't the poetry break a little like an old radio show? No, Bill. It's not. Okay. Well, I just thought I'd run that up the flagpole, see if anybody saluted. Yeah. Okay, where are we at here? I want to read some Linda Pastan tonight. Linda Pastan. I don't remember if I know exactly when. There was I believe. Thank you. You know, I was thinking about this. Wait. I just cracked her knuckle by pulling on her finger. Wait a minute. Sorry. I don't mean to be demanding. Now, the reason I was looking for, that's the reason I went to Fox's Books to find my own copy, is because this is the one that my mom had on her bookshelf. And you see that little tear right there? I put that there as a teenager. The book was absolutely pristine. And I put all these scratches and these rub marks in the leather. I put those there. Yeah, in the 70s. So this book, gosh, fell out of the bookshop. 1918, 1919, 1923 by Doubleday, Page and Company. All rights reserved. Oh, goodness. Yes, Parnassus on Wheels came first. The Haunted Bookshop came second. He's got little note in the front, to the booksellers, you know, addressing. It's like an homage to a used bookstore on Gissing Street in Brooklyn, New York City. Oh my. He talks about a placard. That's the first thing you see when you walk in to the bookshop. Parnassus at Home is the name of the bookshop. R&H Mifflin. Book lovers welcome. This shop is haunted. It's got those little fingers that point both ways. This shop is haunted, it says. And then there's a placard as you walk into the store that says the following. This shop is haunted by the ghosts of all great literature it hosts. We sell no fakes or trashes. Lovers of books are welcome here. No clerks will babble in your ear. Please smoke, but don't drop ashes. Browse as long as you like. Prices of all books plainly marked. If you want to ask questions, you'll find the proprietor where the tobacco smoke is thickest. We pay cash for books. We have what you want, though you may not know you need it. Malnutrition of the reading faculty is a serious thing. Let us prescribe for you. R&H Mifflin, proprietors. You see, it's like a Norman Rockwell painting between these two fine leather covers. This is red leather, yellow leather, red leather, red, you know. Tongue twister. Okay. What a digression. But the hand brought me my mom's copy now. My mom just recently passed this on to me. I have a cheaper copy that I found at Fox's Books in Tacoma, but this one, yeah, this book blew my mind when I was like a senior in high school. I'm not kidding you. I found this book because I was looking for something to read around the house. And I saw that, and there'd always been this little set of books in this one particular set of bookends that it looked like a bowling ball on one end, and then it had this metal sheet that kind of unrolled. You'd put the books in, and then it would kind of snap and hold the books. Anybody ever seen those? Okay, I should stop reminiscing and start reading poetry, shouldn't I? There's probably some young people out there, although I don't. There might be a young person out there going, Ma, I thought you said there'd be poetry. All he's doing is talking about old stuff. Okay. Linda Pastan. I read her book, The 5 Stages of Grief, when I was in college or shortly thereafter. And it blew my mind so. And I don't think I've read much Linda Pastan since then. And I don't know what happened to my copy of 5 Stages of Grief either. Did one of you steal it? On the Sill of the World, this is called, by Linda Pastan. On one wing, a quarter moon has moved across the dark sky into morning. And as I watch, 1,000 leaves fly by, loosed from their autumn trees. So many wings, moths in their somber garments, houseflies, the sound and shadow of a jet. A tide of geese honks its long way south, and one small girl attaching angel wings to her nightgown flits around the house. Now a new generation of birds is landing on the sill. I name them as Adam did, kingfisher, crow, for they are the same birds, immortal in their feathers and primed for flight. Yeah, Bubba. Yeah, Bubba. That's what I'm talking about. This one is called Sting. A bee stung the palm of your right hand, or did you touch a nettle? There was a swelling, the burn of pain, a poisoned flower blooming in the flesh, and neither ice nor baking soda helped. You carried it around, right hand and left, as if it belonged to somebody else, and you were angry, not at the possible bee whose buzz was all you knew of it, not at the nettle, hidden scourge of the summer garden. It was the wound itself that angered you, an early soldier in the army of afflictions waiting for us, even in the innocent grass. I love this stuff. This is called For Miriam, Who Hears Voices. If the voices are there, you can't ignore them, whether they come up through the floorboards, on a conduit of music, or in a rattle of words that make sounds but no sense. They can be messages from the sky, in the form of rain at the window, or in the cold, silent statements of snow. Sometimes it's the dead talking, and there is comfort in that, like listening to your parents in the next room. And perhaps it's the same parents still talking, years after they've gone. If you're lucky, the vowels you hear are shaped like sleep, simple cries from the thicket of your dreams. You lie in a bed. If the voices are there, you listen. Bless me. Goodness, that sneeze was coming for a while. How come I'm only reading these once? What's going on? I want to read that one again. For Miriam, Who Hears Voices. If the voices are there, you can't ignore them, whether they come up through the floorboards on a conduit of music or in a rattle of words that make sounds but no sense. They can be messages from the sky, in the form of rain at the window, or in the cold, silent statements of snow. Sometimes it's the dead talking, and there is comfort in that, like listening to your parents in the next room, and perhaps it's the same parents still talking years after they've gone. If you're lucky, the vowels you hear are shaped like sleep, simple cries from the thicket of your dreams. You lie in bed. If the voices are there, you listen. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to read that Sting one again, too. I should read on the sill of the world, too. Sorry. I'm catching myself in all kind of weird mistakes tonight. On the Sill of the World by Linda Pastan. On one wing, a quarter moon has moved across the dark sky into morning. And as I watch, 1,000 leaves fly by, loosed from their autumn trees. So many wings, moths in their somber garments, houseflies, the sound and shadow of a jet. A tide of geese honks its long way south, and one small girl attaching angel wings to her nightgown flits around the house. Now a new generation of birds is landing on the sill. I name them as Adam did, kingfisher, crow, for they are the same birds, immortal in their feathers, and primed for flight. Excuse me. And sting. A bee stung the palm of your right hand, or did you touch a nettle? There was a swelling, the burn of pain, a poisoned flower blooming in the flesh, and neither ice nor baking soda helps. You carried it around, or baking soda helped, sorry. You carried it around right hand and left, as if it belonged to someone else, and you were angry, not at the possible bee whose buzz was all you knew of it, not at the nettle, hidden scourge of the summer garden. It was the wound itself that angered you, an early soldier in the army of afflictions waiting for us, even in the innocent grass. Okay. Yes. Okay, a couple of more Linda Pastans before I let you go. Where are we at time-wise? 7:45. See? Anybody else show up? Just these cool people that are there. Here's Jamie Turner. Heidi Muller. Hey. Yes, indeed, Roonies. Hi, you guys. Sorry I didn't respond to anybody's birthday greetings. I'm sorry. I'll get to it. I'm sorry. I just decided to take the day off. And then I took today off, too. Yeah, well. A different kind of April for Joan, it's called. This morning winter died, its stinging winds blown out, its snowflakes melted even before they formed, like children already named but never conceived. And summer began with thunder, bullying, heat like a hand presses down on the heart. No spring at all this year, only a memory of green emerging, of crocuses and forsythia, of you alive, walking with me, mocking my moody complaints about the weather. Yeah. A different kind of April for Joan. This morning winter died, its stinging winds blown out, its snowflakes melted even before they formed, like children already named but never conceived, and summer began with thunder, bullying. Heat like a hand presses down on the heart. No spring at all this year, only a memory of green emerging, of crocuses and forsythia, of you, alive, walking with me, mocking my moody complaints about the weather. That's great. Oh. I knew I loved Linda Pastan. Why have I been so long away from Linda Pastan? Why? I'll be all right. I'll read one more. This is a little 4-parter, very small parts. It's called I Hold My Breath. So I will number the parts because they are numbered. I hold my breath. 1. I keep calling up weather to ask if it's going to rain, though I'm standing at the window and can see the staccato drops already falling. We were to meet only if the day was fine. And so I called again, hoping that whoever's in charge of the weather can be made to change their plan. 2. I hold my breath at every stoplight, and if I don't breathe before it changes, I'll have good luck all day. 3. I think of a child kneeling beside his bed, blessing his mother, his father, then blessing the bicycle, the dog, the sailboat he solemnly asks for. 4. Excuse me. At 9, my father was told by the rabbi that if he kissed a crucifix, he'd die. He made one out of the live branches of a tenement tree, stripping the greening leaves, and he kissed it, frightened but refusing what he'd been told. He lived to watch me take charge of the weather. Or he lived to watch me take charge of the weather. Maybe. We'll try it again, see what happens the second time through. What do you say? What do you say? Oh, that's yummy. A little tang to that. Not real tang. I hold my breath. 1. I keep calling up weather to ask if it's going to rain, though I'm standing at the window and can see the staccato drops already falling. We were to meet only if the day was fine. And so I call again, hoping that whoever's in charge of the weather can be made to change their plan. 2. I hold my breath at every stoplight, and if I don't breathe before it changes, I'll have good luck all day. 3. I think of a child kneeling beside his bed, blessing his mother, his father, then blessing the bicycle, the dog, the sailboat he solemnly asks for. 4. At 9, my father was told by the rabbi that if he kissed a crucifix, he'd die. He made one out of the live branches of a tenement tree, stripping the green leaves, and he kissed it, frightened but refusing what he'd been told. He lived to watch me take charge of the weather. Thank you, Linda Pastan. This is from Almost an Elegy. It's new and later selected poems. So there's much more than that of Linda Pastan to be had. If you are intrigued at all by Linda Pastan, she is amazing and has been around forever. Not forever, but through much of my life, which many people consider to be pretty close to forever. Yeah, at least at this point. Well, folks, there you've done it. You've made it through another poetry break. Along with me, I have made it as well, as has the hand. Thanks once again, everybody, for the birthday greetings. I will still go to my Facebook page and answer each one in turn. And with apologies, maybe next year I might wait 3 or 4 days before I do it. Trying to embrace my own nothing to do. Yeah. There is a nothing to do quality, but there's so many things to do. So, nothing to do is kind of like a thing you say because there's no deadlines. There's no boss hanging over you going, it's just not like that anymore. We finished our time with that. So this is a sweet spot. Yeah. Diane and I, at least, are in a sweet spot right now. May it remain sweet. May it not lose its flavor. Yes. And I wish that for all of you guys, too. And thank you for showing up. Take care of each other. Thanks for taking care of me by being here. Who knew that this would be the thing that I'd be doing? I didn't know. Yeah. But I'm happy to be doing it now. So, we'll do it again. Next week? Why not? Next week will be the day after my son's birthday, because my son and I, our birthdays are 7 days apart, except on leap year. So, we'll see you then. Thanks again. Have a poetic week. Okay, bye-bye.